I absolutely love this next story. The supporters of that completely bogus audit of the 2020 presidential election results in Arizona are now turning on each other after the total embarrassing, humiliating flop in which, after months and months of saying this audit will show us what really happened, the results were Joe Biden actually won Arizona by about 360, I believe, additional votes than what was originally reported. And as per usual, when things go bad, Trump supporters just start attacking each other and blaming. Daily Beast article explains Arizona audit backers turn on each other after the recount flop. Our former guest on the show, Will Sommer, wrote this article. Supporters of Republicans' controversial, quote, audit. I think it makes sense to put that in quotes. We still don't really know. Is this an audit? What is an audit? Supporters of the audit have turned on each other after the partisan investigation failed to find proof of election malfeasance, with disaffected backers even circulating a fabricated rival report they claim shows interference by the, quote, deep state. The audit report landed with a thud on Friday, only proving, if anything, that Joe Biden won Arizona by more votes than previously realized. On this week's episode of the Daily Beast Fever Dreams podcast, hosts Asa Wynn Subsang and Will Sommer are joined by Arizona Mirror reporter Jared McDonald-Devoy to discuss the fractious aftermath. Some people who were involved in the report say the deep state kept the real truth out. Now, that's already great, because they're essentially, some of the people who supported the audit are saying the deep state infiltrated their own group and their own audit. That would raise questions as to whether that's a very trustworthy group to be doing this at all, if they could be so easily infiltrated by the deep state. The deep state and the politically correct lawyers and rhinos of the Republican Party suppressed this, said McDonald-Devoy, summarizing right-wing critics' complaints about the anticlimactic audit report. Among the audit report's new detractors, Jovan Hutton Pulitzer, the controversial inventor whose supposed technology analyzing folds in ballot paper had promised to detect some kind of fraud. Instead, the final audit report contained no mention of Pulitzer's imaging technology, a change Pulitzer attributed on Twitter to deep state malfeasance. Asked over email who in the deep state supposedly sabotaged his contribution, Pulitzer remained vague. That's the big question, is it not? This is just amazing. Right-wing media personalities disappointed by the audit have even promoted a fictitious rival report they claim was the real report from the audit operators, cyber ninjas. In this telling, the fabricated draft report called for Biden's win to be decertified. But while the fake report was embraced by the right-wing news blog Gateway Pundit as proof that the real report had been watered down, cyber ninjas blasted that report as a hoax. I think you guys understand. They are eating each other. And there's a big analogy here to the flat earthers. If you get a bunch of flat earthers in a room together, they all believe the earth is flat, but they cite different proofs, supposed proofs explaining why. And we talked about this actually recently on the show. And some of their alleged proofs conflict with each other. They can't possibly be true. Yeah, they'll all agree the earth is flat, but they will disagree vehemently as to what evidence there is for that. And there's a very sort of similar thing here. The audit failed to point to Trump actually winning. They're blaming each other. They've got conflicting reports. And sometimes you have to eat your own to maintain the lie. That's sort of what they were signing up for here. And consider the backfire and the fact that the audit was not just a waste of time. It was a waste of money. And it actually ended up showing, if anything, that Donald Trump was an even bigger loser in Arizona than we originally thought. Will the results be any different from other audits? Well, in Texas, they're auditing counties in a state that Trump already won. So my prediction is no. If you think anything will come of any of these audits, if you even understand what it means that they are doing auditing, I would love to hear from you. You can find me on Twitter at @DPACman.